Hi Natalie, it's Josh.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I got your question. I did a little thinking before I called you just to make sure I could remember exactly how I did it before. So this is being recorded. So Julie's gonna send you the recorded version. So I think if I have you ask the question just so I don't miss anything, and then what I'll do is I'll give you my response. And you know me, I'll go on for a little while, and then you'll have that. You'll have that, and I finish it, and that way I think we can get you your answer much quicker this way. So let's give it a shot. This is new for us, but I think this is the way to start doing these things, is recording them. So go ahead and ask me the question, and then I'll do my best.
Okay, so this dog that I have, it's a Great Dane, and he's deaf. And so they dropped him off the day before yesterday, and basically I was just told that he is a 9-month-old dog, and they got him when COVID started, and they just said that he's a bit of a jerk. Basically what I understood is just a puppy that they've never taught him anything. He's just run the house. They said he humps them. He's just just a little dick, but a big dick actually. And then of course he's deaf, right? So they haven't. They said that the breeder did some command to make him sit when he was 11 weeks old, but I mean he doesn't know anything.
Okay. Yeah.
So when they dropped him off, or when the one lady dropped him off, he was like hair up, scared shitless of us, growling at us, barking, and I'm like, my husband and I were setting up the crate. She was standing outside, and I'm like, this doesn't sound like the dog I see. And so I said to her, I'm like, he's not supposed to have any aggression issues or anything. And she goes, he will not bite you. And I'm like, bloody hell, if I step one foot forward, that dog's on me. So anyway, I was humming and hawing. They drove 6 hours to bring this dog.
Wow.
And once she left, I just had her hand him over to me, and I had him on a long line. And then of course, once he got away from me, he wasn't coming back in towards me. He just froze up. So I just kind of worked him around, and then my husband kind of worked him a little bit and just went to touch the side of his neck, and he bit my husband, but he had winter clothes and gloves, and it was just a quick like that, and then he growled, and as he was walking away, he just
You knew
So
it.
then I called the lady, and I said, maybe you want to get a hotel room before you drive all the way home, because this might not fly.
Yeah.
So my husband's worked with a lot of colts, like horses that are nutty, and he's like, this dog will be fine, it'll be fine. I'm like, whatever. So I said, here's the muzzle, put it on him. So he just really calmly, like the dog, you could just see he was just like this, freaking out, but my husband just nice and slowly got the muzzle on, and then we could, work with him a little bit. And by that night, when we took the muzzle off, and just were really slow and cautious, like he'd get in a corner and be like this, and you'd be like that, and now, like this, in 2 days, now I can let him out of the crate, I can put the prong collar on, he's coming around hugely.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing is just basically e-collar training a deaf dog. I've just been starting to do a command, I use hand signal for sit, and I'm starting to teach down. And I just introduced the prong collar yesterday, so we did a structured walk after I did the pressure work with him.
Nice.
We're doing driveway drills. He walks beautifully. He's got a nice heel.
Oh, good.
Because he likes to be close to you, right?
Yeah.
And they said he'll nibble on their fingers. I said, well, that shit's gonna stop. Because they baby him, right? He's deaf, and he'll nibble if he's nervous. I'm like, no, he has no confidence at all. And they know that they failed him that way, right? So he's just like a bag of scared shit. So
that's rough, but I think with the communication, it's going to help you, because then you'll be able to expose him to the world, and he won't have to be just wondering what the heck's going on.
If he's just if you could just he was trying to hide under our spruce trees, and if something touched his back, he just scooped. Even if you touch his back today, finally I could stroke his back and not have him fly out of his skin.
That's great. So he's getting used to you really quick.
Yeah, he's picking up stuff, he's calming down so much. I just did some drills in the house, just working on sits, just kind of keeping things simple, but getting things done, but getting his brain working. And he also has severe crate issues. They said he'll shit in the crate, he'll pee in the crate, he'll eat the bars, he drools all over, barks all the time, so they can't leave him. Yeah. And so anyway, introductions again with it. I bonked the crate 3 times, and we haven't really had a problem since.
This is good. This is
Yeah,
good.
like he's a little whiny, but he stays laying down, and it's more like double down.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's the worst of it now. He grabbed the bars once and gave him a yank. I bonked the crate. He did a high pitch like fire engine honk the crate.
Yes, that's how you have to do it.
3 times, and then once in the middle of the night. Last night, I was tempted to get up a couple times. I've got a nanny cam, but every time you hear him whine, he was still laying down.
Nice.
So I just kind of, once we get the e-collar going, we can touch that up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You'll clean that up, but the responses are great. It's probably his first time ever being corrected.
Yeah. Well, that's it, right?
Yeah, that's what's going on. You got to see what it looks like the first time.
Yeah. So they were crying when I showed them the video of him laying in the crate. He's never laid in the crate, but they put him in it once. He freaked out. They let him out, let him sleep in the
Okay.
bed.
I know.
So I told him, I said, your whole life is going to have to change when this dog comes
Yeah,
home.
because we have to raise it. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Anyways, that's the show.
Well, it seems like the communication on leash is good because there's a leash. He understands the leash. That's good. That's a good start. This actually isn't that complicated, which is great. But the thing that I want to give you today, one of the real things I want you to take away, there's a few. I'm going to give you a few tips on like how to do it and stuff just so you can get. But this is how I would use it. I would use the vibrate. First of all, the setup I would use would be a double receiver to start, just for clarity purposes for the deaf dog. So the sensations on both sides. That will be faded off when you feel like this guy is like he's as good as he needs to be. Then you'll go to what he's going home on, which would just probably be a one unit. But if you feel like he needs 2 units going home because it just feels like it's more effective, that's what I sent my dog home on who was deaf. It was a double unit, it was a double mini, and it wasn't for the pressure to be hard. It was just so that vibration that we're going to be using really catches her attention. But I'm sure you can do it with one. So this is how I would use it. Vibrate is going to mean recall, because we need that dog to drop it. Just like my program, any dog in this program, the recall is the number one thing because it's safety.
Right.
And at least you can get them to you, you know?
Yeah, I can now.
So, but the interesting thing is with the deaf dogs is we can still hold them accountable with corrections on the collar, and I'll tell you kind of how I think about that. But first things first, vibrate is just going to mean recall.
That's just give you a recall.
That's just going to be your recall. And I think that's just going to be the easiest way out of that, because you can make it more complicated where you like low level tap to get attention and then give the signal and then hold them accountable, because that's how you're going to do every other command. But the thing is with the recall is if you recall, then and you teach a sit stay at the end of that, then you have attention from the dog, so you can then give the other commands. Like from a recall to a sit, you can go into a heel, you can throw a dog on to place, or you can say sit or down. So I like to simplify this for these dogs is like the recall to the sit is our home base, and from there I'll tell you what to do. You can look at it that simple. Like that's our core, is to come here and to stay here. And so he's gonna need to. This is gonna work on everything all at once for this guy, the mind and everything. But the recall to a stay is not overwhelming for him to understand. He's gonna be able to get it because he's gonna feel the sensation. You're going to be able to hold him accountable with corrections on the e-collar after the vibration. Once he knows what that means, it'll look just like a tone recall. And he needs to understand that the recall is finished with a sit-stay. That's got to be important, right? So, because from that, we can do whatever we want with him. We can then say, he'll see us. He'll know what we're saying. Now, you're going to want to do that stuff, and you can also just do just low-level taps when he's just wandering around a room or somewhere with a long line on, and have him kind of like get the gist to look at you that's you, and you mark it. Yeah, get those low-level taps for attention. You're going to want that too.
Right now, I'm just kind of like, he had no engagement at all.
Right.
I did a file of it yesterday, and he's doing really good now. As soon as he looks like a food reward.
Great.
So it's hard because all of a sudden he looks at the ground, and it's like, you can't say, hey, up here. Like,
no, I know.
So I just been kind of fishing around with the prong collar to kind of get him to go, oh, and then as soon as he looks at me, thumbs up.
Good. And then once you get that, try to get it on the collar first, where you hit the taps first, And if he doesn't know what it means, then give the prong. So that at the end of the day, what we want to do with this animal is we want to be able to tap on the collar and he's over in the living room and he looks at us. Right?
Yeah.
Or vibrate and he comes to us. Like no leash, right? That's what they probably want, is that level. Even if they go home, like, of course they're going to use the leash and stuff, but this is for the dog's mind and the understanding that e-collar is how humans are talking to you. Right? We really want to sell that to him, but hey, you get the low tap, he knows that means to pay attention. Once he knows that, if he's not listening to the low level tap, first of all, we got to recall to back us up. But, because we can always recall and hold him accountable for that and then go from there. That's going to be the easiest way probably for the owners, but if you start tapping on him and he's not listening, you can go up in the numbers and see what that produces. But yeah, keep it simple for this guy. And with the hand signals, you know, I do the stay with. The easiest way for a dog to get it is extend that hand out. Just, you know what I mean? The classic stay. But I want to give you one little thing here that helped me a lot. To mark when they have finished it. The termination, like when you would say good and then feed. I just go from here to that. Good.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
And it's just, they get it.
Yeah, like I use leash pressure for a sit, but then I use my hand like this.
Sweet.
And as soon as he sits, I go to thumbs up.
Perfect.
And then food reward.
And then you'll be able to add in the stay, and you can actually hold the hand out there for a while he needs it, but eventually you just be able to throw it up and then. But it's really fun training a dog like this because they make you get really good with your body language or aware of your body language, so you can simplify it a little bit. Like the recall, you know, you're probably going to have to start with a lot of moving backwards and stuff, but you'll hopefully eventually get it to some type of hand signal. And if it's from, you know.
I just kind of, like I seen your video with that doggo Argentino.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like, as soon as he looks at me, I'll just put leash pressure on him, like if we're outside or whatever, and I just go like this.
Nice.
Because like even today he was trying to actually start to play with me, so then I was like, da-da-da, like that kind of, and then when he thumbs up and then
That's
like
perfect.
just a little bit of it, but.
For long distance, just remember you might, well, we don't even need to worry about it like the old school trainers because we got our vibration. That'll always mean, so if we were old school and we didn't have these tools, we'd have to do some silhouette thing where it broke our silhouette and it made us a signal, all this extra shit. But now we got vibration, we don't even need to do anything from long distance to recall. That sensation means get to me. By the time he sees us, he'll see us.
On the one collar, can you have, like, the vibrate's on the tone button, isn't it?
Yeah.
Switch it? Yeah, so you can use that but still use your stim. So
That's
so
right.
I can use one collar if I just do one collar.
And it's going to be great because I'd recommend using the boost for the oh shit button or whatever still, and teaching them when it's appropriate to use that. Because he might, you know, there'll be times where it's like, oh shit, he's going after a squirrel, and they can just hit that. He's not listening to the vibration, right? The vibration is you saying, the vibration is just calm, right?
Yeah.
As soon as he doesn't listen to that, correct. And if he's...
We can't. Normally I'd say here, and then if they don't have you say no.
Exactly. So this guy is just, make sure the timing is on. So it's when you're teaching him, it's vibration. This is the system that he'll learn. It's almost like a robot's doing it. It's so perfect in it to get him. It's vibration, 1 Mississippi, and then correction.
Okay.
And then usually direction with the leash if they're still learning. If what final product though, what it would look like is vibration. The dog agrees, turns around and comes to you. Now the other scenario is he doesn't. It's vibration. He feels that he's not listening, but you wait a second, correct. He still doesn't listen. Vibrate again. He still doesn't listen. The big punishment.
So basically, instead of you saying here, no,
Yeah.
correction, it's going to be vibrate, correction. Like your no is going to be your.
You're just gonna stem. But you got to give that 1 Mississippi for him to make a choice. And it gives them a way to do it. You can vibrate, and if that doesn't work, hit the black button, which we usually operate down in whatever. It's usually somewhere around working level. But then vibrate again. If he doesn't listen, you can just hit the red. And you train that dog to respond to that accordingly out in the world. These are for the emergency cases. I need my dog to come back to me. You want it so that that vibrate is so respected that just like with the beep, they drop what they're doing. It's the end of the world. They're coming back to you.
Yeah.
If you condition it that way, then it'll be powerful going home, and they won't really have much work to do.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
So you really want that vibration to be drop everything you're doing and come to me. No exceptions if they stop and sniff, you know. And you can condition it like that. It's tricky, but once you get it down, the dog gets it.
Yeah.
All this is good because you get the dog's attention, you give the signal, let's say you're saying to go to place, right? Because what's cool from the recall, the recall gets the dog to you into the sit. You have the sit, you have the stay. Proof the sit stay. Do circles around. You'll be able to have your hand out. This is great. Once the dog gets that, you can then, a few sessions down the road, you can start taking that sit stay and you can either do recall the sit stay, but eventually, instead of recalling again, you say down.
Okay.
So now you've added an extension to the sit. You can also go into the down.
Right.
And you've already got the heel going on, but I would use vibrate the same way that we use tone for our heel. We start using recall to train our heel. That's how we do it. So basically, recall teaches heel, and then sit teaches down, and then places is kind of, they just run apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple. We try to keep it simple.
Okay.
I think you know what you're doing with this stuff, and you just needed the basics of how I would operate the remote, right?
Yeah, like, and I'm thinking, like, for, like, right now, I'm thinking just, like, usually when I first get dogs, like, I don't know if you guys put the e-collars on right away, like.
Oh yeah, we do, yeah.
I always kind of, do the little leash pressure and stuff for a day or two with the prong collar, then
Gotcha.
the e-collar, unless you need it on.
Right.
Behavioral issues, right? So I just kind of, like, I mean, with the deaf dog, I just kind of been working with him with the pressure of the prong collar, and then I'll go to
It's
e-collar.
great.
And so do I just layer it the same way? Like, normally what I do is do my continuous stim. So, like, I'd say sit with stimulation. When they sit, it comes off, repetitions of that, and all your other commands, and then go to the non-compliance. Like,
Yes.
I do the stage where I take the verbal command out just to make sure they're responding to the pressure.
Yes, we do too. What I was going to say about that, with the pressure, I'll tell you, that will work just fine. I'll tell you how I did it in alternative in case you run into problems and you want to try what I was doing. I stay on usually, unless I have to use held pressure because the dog's not getting it this way. I'll try this first, what I'm about to tell you, and then I'll go to held pressure if it doesn't work. And that is simply asking the dog to do something. The dog learns that you're asking it to do something, okay? That it becomes conditioned to the collar and the taps on the collar, meaning that wasn't quite right, try something else. So you can actually get a dog to try things through low pressure if you train it right. And the way that I do it, I don't hold until they get it right. They try some. It's a back and forth conversation. So I say, try this, and I'll put up a signal, like a down, and they'll be like, I don't know that. And then they might try, and I'll just be like, good job for trying. Usually I can just say good, but they're not getting it, and I'm still gesturing, and eventually they're like, okay, I'm not trying anymore. And then I stim, and then they go, okay, I gotta try again, but the last thing didn't work, let me try something else. So I'm saying, no, that's not right when they try things, but not in a punishing way, just matter of factly, and give them encouragement for them to keep trying. And then what happens is they get it and they get the good. And I find that back and forth, once they learn how to do that, they learn how to learn from you. So then they know that you're asking them to solve a problem, and the only thing you're correcting is if they try not to participate. If they try to say, no, I'm not gonna do this right now, then there would be punishment if I needed to. But the rest is just saying, it's just marking, it's just hot and cold, you're getting there. And then when they get it, this is the interesting thing about teaching like this, is once they get it, and it doesn't take a lot of reps. But if they didn't get it, you can use the held pressure and all that. But a deaf dog, this is even better, because this style of training makes them have to read the human and try to understand what they're saying.
Exactly.
And I think that's a skill that they learn through this way of letting the dog be a participant in solving the problem. Let them solve the problem, where you just give them little information so they can find the answer, but don't ever give them the answer. If you learn to do this, it's really fast with dogs, but it's also with the deaf dog, he's going to learn to read a human. So that's the approach I would be taking. That's my approach anyway, is I would just say sit, and then he would say, I don't know what that means, and I would tap once he stops trying things, and he would eventually try. But the way you're doing it now, with the prong and everything, is just fine. And what you'd want to do is this is the order. If you don't want to change what you're doing, this is the order of events. You've already got it on the prong, so you know you can give him the answer on the prong. You know if he's confused, you can go, here's the answer, and he'll get it, okay, with the sit and the down. So now what you do is you ask him to do the command, and hopefully he waits a second. Because you want to be able to tap on the e-collar for him not doing it, and then him being like, what does that mean? And then you saying, it means this.
Right.
That's the conversation. You do that over and over again until the prong is no longer needed.
It just sounds like the way I'm doing it is making a little more work.
It does make more work. I'm telling you it does, but it works though. The way you're doing it is learning it that way. Listen, I did that for years because that will always work. But if you, I played with another way of doing things, and I found some benefits from it that I didn't expect. Some good stuff. It's faster. The dogs seem to understand the commands in more depth. Like they understand how to use the commands on their own independently. They understand in what social context, what commands should I be doing, and it's really great. You know, if you ever make it out here, you'll see some of that. But I would recommend waiting a little while because I'm still figuring it out. I am. I think I need like a year or something. I'm gonna make it easier to understand.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, play and have fun with this dog because you know what you did. You know what I like about your approach is that you took the prong, which is more intimate and less confusing, and you built a relationship with this dog. And while you were at it, you taught some stuff. So I actually think this approach was really good, and I might even have taken it if I had this dog in where I didn't use the e-collar right away, because then it would leave too much room for him to get confused. Because what the heck is that? And I don't know who you are. I don't trust you either. You know what I mean? Once you.
That's what I was worried about too, because like I didn't want to. You know, a lot of people say, like I know Jeff would say, shut him up in the crate. You know, and I thought.
Yes. Yeah.
And I always like I always try the bonker, and then I usually use a pet convincer.
Nice.
Like,
Those are
for
good.
reactive dogs, and then to the e-collar.
And then you gotta move your way
I
up
don't
there.
like to put the e-collar on and then give him a real high level correction. Like
Yeah, you
if
need.
you have to, because you got to end the crap. But
I'll tell you this: as long as the dog understands that their behavior caused the punishment and what the punishment is, like the e-collar is me, then there's no problems. There's no problems. It's no different than giving a bonk on the face. The difference is when this stimulation happens, you have to explain it. They don't know what it is, and if they already don't trust you, it's not going to be a good association to start with. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm working every day at getting better at conditioning the e-collar and getting the dog to clearly understand what I want them to understand fast. Because here's the thing about communication with a dog: if you did it really good and really clear, they get it like this.
Right.
Okay, they get it quick because that's how they learn out in nature. If I can get clear, then it makes I get faster.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's easier on the dogs. It's not just, hey, I'm fast. It's less pressure on the dogs to say, hey, let's talk about down again for like the 700th time since you've been here. It's like, we don't have to talk about down. You get it. We can just use it. So now we can go do stuff. So I think you got this, but if you run into any questions, I don't want to eat up too much time because you're getting charged here. We already got it. I think I gave you I think I gave you enough, but let me know if you run into any things. Like if you just have a quick little question, we don't have to do a Skype. We can just answer a question or two. But if you feel like we need to talk, we'll do another one. All right? How you feeling?
Good. I felt like just to clear a few things up. So
yeah. You're headed in the right direction. Use that vibrate for the recall for safety. You're already using all the things that I'd be doing. I think you got this. I really do. I really do.
Okay.
Keep in touch.
You betcha. Thanks, Josh.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Billy.
Bye.